Right, it's 9:45. I need to hurry up and start before the 10 o'clock madness sets in. Hello, I'm Florentina Faconti and welcome to another episode of my favourite sci-fi films. Today, in part 6, I'm going to be talking all about Planet of the Apes. I was going to include these films in my last episode about post-apocalyptic and dystopian sci-fi films, but there was just too much to talk about, so I thought I'd just give the franchise its own video. I'm going to be talking about the films from 1968, 2001 and the recent trilogy. I've got positives and negatives about all of them, so I'm going to go through them chronologically. And I'm going to start with Planet of the Apes 1968. This was my first time watching this one, and this is the only one of the older Planet of the Apes that I've seen, hence why I'm only talking about this one. I have mixed feelings about this film. It's definitely aged quite a lot. I did like it. I loved the story and I loved the general concept of Planet of the Apes. So I knew that I was going to be invested in it. And I loved the general look of the film, the sets and the costumes were all brilliant. However, the prosthetics for the apes were awful. And before you come at me, I know it's a really old film, but I just couldn't concentrate on what was going on. The masks that they were wearing were either hiding the speech and not moving enough when they talked, or they were moving too much and flapping about. I enjoyed the film, I really did, and I usually love practical effects and makeup instead of CGI, but this was just too distracting for me. And then we move on to the 2001 Planet of the Apes. And controversially, I bloody love this one. I love most Tim Burton things, and as much as this isn't his typical gothic style, it still has his stamp on it. Which is probably why some people don't like it, but I love it. But where the prosthetics in the 1968 version disappointed me, I absolutely loved them in the 2001 version. They moved so well with the actor's speech and they were just generally more believable and a lot less distracting. I think the actors also did really well. The physicality that they had with the half ape, half human movements was just perfect. And I'm not usually a Mark Wahlberg fan. I don't really watch his films. They're not really my thing. But I thought he was all right in this. I first watched this one when I was quite young, and not to make any of you feel old, but I was 3 when this came out. And until the more recent ones came out, it was the only one that I'd seen. So I just have a bit more of an attachment to it, because I just found it so exciting as a child. So if you don't like that one, don't come at me and ruin my childhood. Thank you. And finally, onto the new trilogy, Rise of the Planet of the Apes, Dawn of the Planet of the Apes, and War for the Planet of the Apes. I've said Planet of the Apes so many times in this video. These films are so good. I like all of them, but I did lose interest slightly as the trilogy went on. I like Dawn and War, but I loved Rise. I've seen that one so many times. The trilogy is a lot darker, more gritty and serious. Rise has a bit more light in it, but it does get a bit darker as it goes on. I do love a bit of motion capture. Andy Serkis is the mocap king. He absolutely smashes every character he does, and he's just incredible at it. I think it really adds something to the reality of the films, because the apes do look and feel so real. And it makes this one different because the actors are playing apes. They're not playing the caricature human-like apes that we've seen before. My favourite ones are Maurice the orangutan because he's absolutely gorgeous. I love orangutans, especially the massive ones with the big faces like he has. And Bad Ape from the last film because he looks like an old man and a baby at the same time and he was adorable. Overall, I really enjoyed the Planet of the Apes franchise. They're not my top favourite sci-fi films because I do have a lot of negatives about them, but I really love them and I had to put them on the list. So yeah, that was part 6 of my favourite sci-fi films. Join me next month for part 7 where I will be talking about my favourite sci-fi films about time travel. Thanks for watching, give it a like if you liked it, subscribe if you want more of this, but as always, stay safe and look after yourselves. Bye!